Okay, so while I'm waiting for the water to heat up, I wash my face with this SkinCeuticals Simply Clean stuff. It's a gel cleanser, so it's not as harsh, and it's really moisturizing. I've been using this for a couple of years. My dermatologist gave it to me, and I go to a new one now, but they told me I can keep using it. So it's a pretty good cleanser. So I'm gonna go ahead and wash my face. And then always make sure to pat your face dry and not to rub it, because I don't know why. My dermatologist told me that, so I think it's something about it not allowing the pores to close. Don't quote me, because I really don't know. After that, I go in with the Heritage Stone Rosewater and Glycerin, the one that I put on my story a couple weeks ago. And this to me is kind of like a barrier before I put everything else on, because there's literally like 5 more products I do. This one, see, all it has is Void Mag water, vegetable glycerin, and literally rose oil. And it's from Urban Outfitters, only like $10, but I think you can get it from Amazon too. So I let that dry a little bit. And now I'm gonna go in with the Neutrogena Hydro Boost Vitamin Multivitamin Booster, and this is the line I use. It's kind of like a serum, but it has hyaluronic acid, which just makes your face really plump, moisturized. And I found that as I keep using it, it really improves your like texture on your skin, which is why my makeup usually looks really smooth now and really poreless. Well, I don't really have pores, but just texture overall smooth. Because I still have these dark spots here that I'm trying to get rid of. So, and then after that, this is a new one I just opened, the Neutrogena Water Gel Hydro Boost. This is all hyaluronic acid too, so this is like a gel moisturizer, which at first my dermatologist suggested I use this. I was using Kiehl's, which is why I see my skin routine has changed. And she was just saying that it's not non-comedogenic, which basically means that for people who have acne-prone skin or who are more susceptible to getting bumps, this doesn't add to the problem. So I haven't had any problems with this. It feels great. It's pretty thick. They have a thicker version that's for like extra dry, but I think it's a cream and not a gel. This to me is really thick, but I kind of have, I would say I have normal skin. My skin is not dry, rarely ever gets dry, even when it's really cold outside, or like even when I go somewhere where it's really cold, it's never that dry. And then I go in with this Elta ND Skincare Broad Spectrum SPF 46. One thing to note is like you don't need to go like over 45 SPF, because I don't think it does anything after them. And a lot of people think sunscreen isn't important, but it really is. Especially if you have dark marks that you're trying to get rid of. If you don't put sunscreen on, like, if you think they're not gonna get dark, they're gonna get dark, and you're gonna wonder why they never go away. And it's gonna be because you don't wear sunscreen. So this is the last part that I do before I do my makeup. So this is really all. This is like my morning routine, like if I'm getting dressed. Now, if you guys want to see what I do at night, it kind of varies. I use different serums, different masks. Let me know, because I'll do another one of those, but this is just what I do. Okay, so now I'm going to do my makeup routine. So I'll just show you guys briefly, like this is what my skin looks like at the moment. I got my mustache done and literally got 2 giant pimples, which hasn't happened in like years, and I almost cried. And so now there's 2 marks, so great. First I'm going to always like lay my baby hairs and stuff down before I do my makeup, because if you don't, it gets really nasty really quick. And this is what I use, Edge Booster. When I tell you guys, it's literally Jesus himself made it. So I'm gonna quickly do this. That's the first thing. Fun tip, actually that's still part of my makeup routine, is always, if you do your hair before you do your makeup, because you have to try to go back and like fix your hairline, and it starts mixing the makeup, and water and foundation or whatever you use is not mixed. So first I'm gonna start off with the Farsali Skintune Blur Perfecting Primer Serum. And this is what I use. It's really not cheap, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. But it's actually pretty thick, and I usually don't use primer, but this is also like a moisturizer, so it's kind of like I'm double moisturizing my face over the sunscreen I already have on it. Not everyone believes in primer. I used to didn't use it, but it does help like control shine and makes everything kind of lay a lot smoother. Now, I usually kind of let it sit for a little bit, like pat into my face, make it kind of tacky so that everything sticks. What's going on over here? And then now, I'm gonna go in with, and I always wet my hands in between. I'm gonna go ahead and wet my beauty blender, and then this is a Juno sponge. So this is like the new sponge. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of it, but it's like has microfiber, so it's kind of like velvety. The original beauty blender, nothing else. Okay. So, like I said, you guys always ask me what foundation I use, and I actually use Tinted Moisturizer. Now, since I have some dark spots, I usually will go in with like a concealer that's actually my skin tone, or a little bit lighter. This is Natural Beige in the Born This Way multi-use sculpting concealer, so I'll go in and kind of just kind of correct everything, like where there's there, here, here, and yeah, I think that's it. So I kind of let that sit. When you let it sit for a minute, it gets tacky, which means it's going to actually do more coverage, versus when you try to blend makeup when it's first wet, most of the time it you have to put like 4 and 5 layers. So little tip I learned from my YouTube girls that I watch. So when I go in with, this is a Smashbox full coverage foundation. So this is gonna give you full coverage. I don't use this obviously for everyday things, so I just kind of buff it out, and you'll notice that it's gonna look light, but we don't want it to be dark, because if you put it under, if you put it over the makeup that the tinted moisturizer, you're obviously gonna be able to tell because it's not that thick. So I'm just gonna go over this, like so. You see it looks like really white and patchy. Usually this is my skin tone, but I actually went to the tanning salon yesterday, so it's not anymore. Okay, so there's this. This is what it would look like normally if I didn't. And now I'm gonna go in with the NARS Pure Radiant Tinted Moisturizer Broad Spectrum. This has 30 SPF 30 sunscreen in it. And I use the color Cuba, which is like a medium. And Cuba, I don't think I do have their foundation, which I used to use all the time. But Cuba is a tip that I would say is always get your tinted moisturizer like either a shade or 2 shades darker, because when you blend your concealer in, it's gonna fix itself. So if I look a little crazy while I'm doing this, that's why. So I just go ahead and put about just like a squeeze like that. It's more than enough. And then I'm going in with the blurring foundation. So this is a sheer coverage brush. So this isn't gonna be as full as if I was to use the full coverage. So I just dip my brush in it, kind of splotch it all over my face, and then I just blend it out. And you'll see it's really not that dark. Please match your foundation to your neck. Seriously, guys. Like, I see too many people matching it to their face, and when you take a photo, you look like Casper. So please do not do that. So I just kind of buff it out. And as you see, it's really not heavy. And I know in photos it looks like it's foundation, but it's really not. So I just buff this out. And then there's still some on my hand, so I'll go on my forehead and go over everything up here in between my nose. I just graze over my eyelids so that it doesn't look like they're white. And I'm gonna put some more on my chin here, it's not looking. I used to put this on, believe it or not, with my hands, and when I tell you guys, it was so splotchy. I think tinted moisturizer is really meant to put on with a sponge and not your hands or like a brush. So this is the foundation slash tinted moisturizer all laid down, and I actually like literally love this stuff. And then sometimes, like right now, I don't think I need to go over it with sometimes I'll go over it with the concealer, the darker one, which would be this one, which is the Still Born This Way, but it's in the color Warm Sand, which is closer to my skin tone. But right now it's actually not looking too bad. I actually might put a little bit more here where those pimples came in, but I think that's it. Yeah. So then I let that sit, like I said, for just a second, and then I'm gonna wipe my hand off. I see a lot of girls who put their foundation on their hand and then they go out and don't wipe it off. Like, come on, sis, tighten up. Okay, so there's that, and I'm gonna go in and go ahead and blend this out, and you'll see, like, literally gone. Like, what, Mark? Please blend your neck and your ears, please, please, please. I see too many people don't, and it looks like you're wearing a mask. Okay. Next, I'm going to go in, I kind of go between a couple different concealers, but today I think I'm gonna use the Born This Way one, just so you guys can know this is new. I just love like the big dofa applicator. So this is closer to my skin tone, but I kind of use it to make everything full coverage. So I just go underneath it like this. I go around my nose and then my chin. And then I go in, this color is Warm Sand. Then I go in with Natural Beige, because I like kind of a lighter under eye. And I just go in like this, just more so on the bottom, not too much under the eye. And then I go down the bridge of my nose here just to highlight the forehead. And then I kind of mix it in down here on the chin. So I let that sit for about a couple seconds while I put everything else up. So I'm gonna go ahead and blend this out. And as you see, it mixes very well. It like gives me enough coverage, but it's not white. Now, I used to use Natural Beige by itself, and when I took photos, it was like too much. So, and like some days I'll go out the house and I don't do all of this. Like I'll just do the tinted moisturizer. Because it just adds like I said, evenness and like color to my face, just to match the rest of my body. Like your face is actually naturally gonna be lighter than your body, so it's okay to wear foundation that's darker or buy it that's darker and you're thinking, wow, I'm gonna look like I'm either orange or like crazy, but really it doesn't. Blend. Yeah. So just make sure everything under your eye especially is really blended out, because we don't want to set it and there's creases. So right now, this is what everything is looking like, very smooth. And you see now it looks like I have foundation on, but I think it's the concealer that makes it appear that way. Next, I'm gonna go in with the Huda Beauty, literally probably my favorite setting powder at the moment. This is in Banana Bread, which is like a yellow, I like to use a yellow powder, so I'm gonna open it. Now, this powder has kind of a very unique smell. It doesn't bother me, but when it first came out, a lot of people were saying like, it smells like, I think it smells good. It smells like flowers, but I just put some on the sponge and set underneath my eye, down the bridge of my nose, basically everywhere where I concealed. I don't set my whole face. I don't like that look. It's a preference thing for me. Laugh line, I move, smile a lot, and laugh a lot. And then I will go in with the Juno sponge now. And this is what I need to squeeze this out a little bit more, but this is what I go in for my contour to contour where I'm going to be contouring. Just so it kind of gives like a shadow. And I don't let my highlight and everything sit that long because it starts to get really dry underneath your eyes and then it looks really bad. So I just do a light, I don't let it sit that long, and then the chin obviously. So right now, this is what it's looking like, and I know setting powder is probably the messiest thing you can do in your makeup routine. It kind of irritates me because it gets dust everywhere. I'm gonna go ahead and rinse my sponge off. I always rinse it off after I do the setting powder. So this is what everything looks like now. It looks very powdery, but there's a method to the madness, I promise. Okay, so while this is baking, I do my eyebrows, and currently right now I'm using the Anastasia pencil, the Brow Wiz that everyone uses. For a while I switched to Benefit, and it's sometimes you have to be really careful with it because it will make your eyebrows look really dark, and I do not clean them up with concealer. I don't like that look. Never really been a fan of that. It doesn't matter to me if you do it because I can always tell if you have. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this. I don't know if you guys will be able to see this because it's hard for me to kind of do this and talk. They're very dark, so I just kind of bring them out a little bit, as you can see, and then I will fill in with like ever so the slightest hand the front. So, and always remember to, people always do their eyebrows and don't brush the color through it. Like, please. I do have lash extensions. India does them. If you guys want, I'll put her Instagram at the bottom, but she does the best lashes. So here's one eyebrow that's not done. Here's one that's done. As you can see, I brought the tail out a little bit and my eyebrows kind of need to be done, but this is what it looks like from afar. So not much has changed. Like I said, I just kind of keep going back and forth, like brushing them through just to make sure everything looks even. This is in the color Ebony, which is pretty. My eyebrows are black, but I don't ever use a black pencil. This is dark brown, so that you can't tell that it's very noticeable. I go in with a Sephora. This is just like a pro contour, but I use it to wipe my under eye, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And I do a good like sweep. I don't want any powder left over because we're about to set. I set twice, so I set once after I bake, and then I set again when I'm done with all of my makeup. So I'm gonna wipe this off. So this is what it looks like right now before I set. I need to brush my lashes, but this lighting is not the best, but you can tell. The Morphe Continuous Setting Mist, it gives like this even, like, I don't know how to explain it, so I'm gonna do this. Pretty generous. So it kind of just brings everything back to like life or like dewiness. And then I'm gonna go in with the Anastasia Brow Gel, Clear Brow Gel. I got this in a kit. It was a great deal. And I actually really like this gel. I mean, you can use any gel, but I do like to set my eyebrows. Eyebrows are done, set. And then now I'm going to go in with contour. So this is the, I love Smashbox brushes, by the way. Macy's is the best, and they came in like a little travel container, so when I travel I can just take them with me without them being squished. But this is an angled blush brush, but I like it because I can use it as a contour. So I'm gonna go in with the NARS Casino, and this I believe is a bronzer, but it doesn't have any shimmer, so I like to just use it as a contour powder. I'm not really a cream contour fan. And then I always dust off the excess, and then I kind of just place that up here. And you just have to kind of eye it because you never want it to be like black. It's not gonna look blended out right now because I'm gonna put bronzer over it. This is just kind of to give me a little color, as you can see. So no contour. I kind of have high cheekbones anyway, so this line here is natural, it's not contour. And then this is the contoured side. So I'm just gonna go in, and you can layer this without it looking muddy. I hate when I see girls contour and it looks muddy. And then I kind of just go lightly on the forehead. If you go too hard on the forehead, your highlight that you put is not gonna blend. So as you can see, I'm getting some color back in my face, and then I go along the jawline, and that's just to give like a nice illusion, and also just to define. Brush over my nose. That part is done, and now I'm gonna go in with bronzer. And I switched between both, but I like this Too Faced Sun Bunny natural bronzer. It's like a two-tone, and it has two different kind of colors in it, so it's not too harsh. So I just use this as a Real Techniques powder brush. I just do this, dust a little bit, and just place it here. And then you can see now it looks like, then I just put the excess on the forehead. So right now this is what it's looking like. And then now I'm gonna go in with the, some days I like to wear blush, some days I don't. So I'm just gonna go in and go ahead and go in with this blush palette that I got from Morphe. It is their, yeah, it's just a blush palette. They have a couple. These are all the colors, and I usually use It Girl and Free. I kind of mix them. I think today I'm just gonna use It Girl because it's a light color, and I'm gonna go in with another Real Techniques, and this is an actual blush brush. I just dip it in It Girl, and it kind of has a shimmer, so it's like a highlight. I dust off the excess, and then I just place it here. I love blush, but I just don't go overboard. I like to spray my face before I do my highlights. We're gonna go in with the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist again. Never gets old. I wish I could just like have a travel size to put in my bag. Okay, so that is done. We're gonna let that dry down for just a minute. And I do have a mole right here that gets covered up, so I usually go in and go back over it with my eyebrow pencil because it's the same color. So there's that. I'm gonna go in with what I've been using on and off is the Mercier Translucent Glow Powder. So this is like their setting powder, but it's not really meant to set. It's kind of like a highlighter, so it looks like this. And as you guys can see, it's really, really pretty. I just use a fan brush, and this one is some fan brush that I've had for quite some time. So I just dip it in the top, and then I just kind of brush it up on the cheek. So it's not like a loose highlight, it's kind of like a subtle, but you see that it's just kind of a natural glow, not too much. And so you guys, that's really it. I'm gonna do like a cobalt blue liner on the bottom today. I'm wearing a reptile shirt, and I think that would look really cute. So this is the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Pencil in Chaos. So I'm just gonna line my lower lash line, and then I'm gonna go ahead and briefly just kind of put some transition color here at the top of my lashes. So I'm gonna go in, I've been loving this palette. Tiffany gave it to me. The Too Faced Chocolate Gold. Gorgeous, like look at these colors, oh my god. Okay, so I'm just gonna use Cocoa Truffle. It's just like a brown color. It kind of gives your eyes just like a pop on the corner there. I'm gonna go in with, actually I think I'm gonna do a little bit of a shimmer eye. And go in with Famous, which is this like golden color right here. And I'm just gonna take that on kind of like a fluffy brush because I don't want it to be too dense, just kind of like, and that just kind of gives it like a evenness a little bit, just natural. I like to use a really small brush on my bottom lashes because they're quite long. I'm gonna go in with the MAC Extended Play Lash, and this is in Endlessly Black. And here we have it. So this is the finished look. Yeah, so this is the look of today. And I don't know what lipstick I'm gonna wear, so we'll see. But if you guys have any questions, comment in the box. I don't mind answering them, or if you have any suggestions or like products, let me know because I love makeup. Okay, bye. Niggas, maybe Thursday, in person, but you couldn't.